Oh, and welcome to our fortnightly live stream. A slightly different setup tonight. We don't know where Gary is. He was around earlier, Joe, wasn't he?
Yeah, but he's wandered off. We went off to Mastabs and we've barely seen him since.
But we have got some fantastic guests this evening. We've got John Farrell and Jamie Henville from RF Solutions. Now, Jamie does look like Ron Atkinson's younger brother. We'll get that in early. Now we've planted that in your head, you'll not think of anything else. But we're here for the next... Joe's getting instructions there.
Sorry, apologise. That's me laptop kicking off.
There you go. What could possibly go wrong? We've got loads of things we're going to try tonight that are new, which will explain where Gary is in a minute. But the topic for tonight's live stream, very much Safe4September, which is obviously the safe isolation campaign that is running throughout, hopefully, the electrical industry to get people thinking about safe isolation and obviously a thing that could save your life. And we're going to delve into that a little bit further with some of the people behind that brilliant campaign, which will explain why we have another special guest who is remote. And here's the first. Can we give it a try? Let's see if we can find him.
It's okay. We've got a good...
There he is.
There's Eddie.
We've got the remote Eddie cam, which in glorious sound, we can't hear what Eddie's saying, but you can. So he could be talking about us and saying all sorts at the minute, unless we've left his mic off. But we'll come back to Eddie in a little while. I guess first we should just thank our sponsors. He's right there. There we go. Joe, can you remember who the sponsors are?
Right, so I'm going to say a big thank you to BG Luceco. Obviously, without these people, we wouldn't be able to do the live stream, so we really do appreciate your support on this. Marshall Toughlex, of course. Vargo, big fans of Vargo, of course. My Energy, Doncaster Cables, and I'm going to do that thing that Gary does. Okay, so I'm going to do that thing where I passively aggressively needle you for getting distracted there, Gordon. Which one have I left out?
Pallet Zone.
Oh, well done, very good. You see, nailed it this week. That's good.
Yeah. So that's what we've got today. We've got some fantastic giveaways coming up later on in the show, or find out how you can get some fantastic giveaways. We've got some eFIXX safe isolation kits, and we've got some voltage and continuity testers from TIS.
And don't undersell it, Gordon. How many of those safe isolation kits are we giving away?
100. So it is during the month of September. But you will obviously have to stay on to find out how you get one of them. And yeah, so where is Gary? So let's swap to the Gary cam.
I'm about to put your mic on now and be part of the show. Yeah, we're Ravishing Rick is where I am, so we've got our own corner.
Technical corner.
Yeah, absolutely, and we're having a few technical issues. We've got tons of moving parts here. But as we come to it, shall we start off with Gary's Swap Shop?
Okay.
Yeah, you're right with that? You're right, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
We're going to need a keyword here. Are you going to join me in it, yeah?
I will do.
What's our keyword this week? Look at the camera and give us the keyword for Gary's Swap Shop.
Gary's Swap Shop is safe isolation.
Safe isolation.
It is.
Right, okay. So in order to play along with this, I'm obviously going to ask you to send something in, but you've got to play along by putting safe isolation in the comments. By putting it into the comments, it means you'll enter yourself into hopefully Rick's register.
Yeah, hopefully.
Okay, so we'll be in the register with Rick today. Joe's currently not at work after he lost his alarm fob when he went to the last festival that he went to. He lost his phone at the previous one. We'll come back to that later on in the
Joe
show.
2.0. Joe 2.0. Just want to point that out.
Heckling, I'll have to turn their mics off when we know we're in our important section here. So if you want to play along Gary's Swap Shop, put safe isolation into the comments. And then we're going to want something sent in to us if you get pulled out. And we're going to go this time. We're going to go all in. I think because RF Solutions are here, let's go for something in their spectrum. Okay, let's go for old remote control. Well, we must have hundreds of them in drawers at home. Okay, and I want you to post me one of those in. But we need to see, Rick, what's in the bag so we can see what you win if you get pulled out at the end of the show. So camera number 17. What do we got in the bag? So we did have 2 cans of beer, but we pulled those out for ourselves.
So, got an eddy current hat.
We've got an eddy current hat, love it.
Safe isolation kit.
You wouldn't think there wouldn't be one in there.
Pair of glasses.
And it's also a bottle opener on the side. You stay there, Rick. Yeah, look at that. It's also a bottle opener. Look at that. Yeah, brilliant. Love it. What else have we got, Rick?
There's a bit of a theme going on.
Okay. Yeah, and a glass for beer, I would imagine. Or any other soft beverages that you want to take on board there. So there's a soft beverage glass as well. What else have we got? God, you're digging in there, Rick. What's that, Rick?
A bottle opener.
So 2 bottle
Another
openers.
bottle opener, just in case these fail.
I'd like to suggest that they're obviously 3 sheets to the wind most of the time at RF Solutions. Okay, what else have we got in there?
Looks as though we've got a cob light.
Cob light, a torch in other words.
Well,
Yeah,
torch.
okay, yeah. Cob light. Cob round here is a bread
torch,
roll in it.
a light.
Okay, what else have we got?
And a tape measure.
Right, okay, brilliant. Put them back in the bag. Right, so all you need to do to play along with Gary's Swap Shop is put Safe Isolation in the comments. You'll be pulled out in the register as well. And if you send me and get pulled out at the end, 2 names get pulled out, you can win that bundle as long as you send me an old remote control, okay? Now we're going to try something new. I'm going to have to put some headphones on for this because we've got somebody waiting in the wings, and these wings are miles away. They're not over there. They're somewhere in the UK. So we're going to bring our mystery guest in. I'm sure anyone on Instagram will know who it is. Hopefully when I bring his microphone in, and let's bring him in. Hello, Eddie. How are you?
Bonjour. All good, thank you. And yourself?
I'm very well. So we're on the screen now. We've brought you in for our main topic of the evening, which is Safe for September. What's the thinking behind that Safe for September thing, Eddie?
Well, it was just a chat with Andy from Isolate for Life on the Insta. Myself, the way the industry posts its the different instas and one thing and another with with that isolation and showing a bit of it, and don't be embarrassed about it, and show it, make awareness, and that's about it really, simple as.
Okay, so we've obviously it's on Instagram predominantly. We're trying to share it across all social media platforms, and we're also supporting you at Cottage Connections, and we'll mention that later on in the show. What do I need to do to get involved with this Safe for September campaign, Eddie?
Literally just take a picture of your safe isolation or safe working, and post it on the Instas, the social medias, or whatever it be. Simple as. Put the hashtags in, hashtag safe #4 September, and hashtag 50 #20.
Okay, so obviously you mentioned yourself, you mentioned Andy. Who else is supporting this campaign? Because it's not just the two of you. I think it's more of a cooperative that are working on this Safe for September campaign. It's not just for September. We know it's for everything, but who else is supporting it?
Oh, well, of course, we've got the red band, eFIXX. Also, Princess Sparky, she's been good. She's been brilliant at it. She has been absolutely fantastic at it, to be fair. It always takes a good woman beyond the blokes, doesn't it? And I tell you what, I was surprised now how many people are getting on board, manufacturers and all sorts of it. Yeah, and loads of Sparkies and apprentices. Everybody seems to be just getting on board with it, and also going international now. Canada, America, India are also on board with it.
That's brilliant, Eddie. So we're going to keep this theme going out throughout the entire show. So we'll have you back in at some point. Perhaps when we're doing what we call the plug and socket towards the end, maybe I'll actually bring you back in so you can actually interact in the live chat with the guys from RF Solutions as well. So we're looking at that hashtag Safe for September across social media. We're looking to share our photographs and our best practice. Remember, if somebody hasn't got their practice quite up to speed, remember not to name and shame them on social media. Perhaps a private DM, and I know you're a big fan of that in other situations, especially with your mental health stuff that you've done before, Eddie. Just to be careful with the way you approach maybe a photograph that you're not necessarily as pleased with as you could be. We're trying to help and support people through their safe isolation procedure. And like I said, we'll continue that on as well. And we're going to give away, as we said earlier on in the show, 100 safe isolation kits as well. So, Eddie, if you're okay just to stay there, we will keep bringing you in periodically to see how you're getting on with the brown cans as well. We all know you like Cam that we had before. And obviously we'll bring you in for some live chat later on. Thank you ever so much, Edwin, for joining us. Our first ever remote guest, and what a pleasure it was to be. That is you, Eddie. Thank you, Eddie. Okay, so I'm going to take these out. Obviously, there's a lot of moving parts to this. We're trying our best. Obviously, Gordon was hammering around there for us as well, so as we were doing that one. So hopefully you're going to play on with Gary Swap Shop. We have people coming in, have we, Ravishing Rick?
Yeah, we've got a few people putting safe isolation in the comments, so if you want to play along.
Okay, so that's going in, that's brilliant. And you'll also get, by leaving a comment, you'll get called out in the register as well. Yeah. I think that's our segment done. I think we can sit back and relax, young man.
Let's go get a chair.
Yeah, let's go and get a chair. Let's bring in the big boys. Hang on, I've got to bring your mics in as well, lads. You've just got to give me a second.
Apologies, we are getting some things of buffering coming in as well, so I don't know what the technical...
I can't do anything about it.
What is there?
I can take stuff out now. Carry on.
No, I think it's the Wi-Fi going out the building, so we'll try and fix that. That is down to the interweb. I'll just check what Wi-Fi network you're on, Gary. Can you see on there?
I can't check it on. I'm on the 5.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you want me to take some cameras out while you're doing
No, I think it could be we are working on that, folks. But,
Okay. All right. Yeah. We apologise.
yeah, I'll just carry on. So what did Eddie tell us there, Gary?
So
We couldn't hear him.
We couldn't hear it.
right,
A very one-sided conversation that you were having there.
I was meant to not be on the show. Well, I'm obviously on the show with voice but not person at the moment. So Eddie told us there that obviously this Safe4September is actually across the whole of obviously the year, but we're focusing it on September. We're using the hashtag Safe4September on pictures that we're predominantly uploading onto Instagram, and again to support people through their safe isolation procedure and probably not be negative towards them, especially when people are sharing photographs. There's a collective of people being involved, and anyone can join in, and he's going to join us later on if our internet issues subside, I would suggest. So that's what we're up to. Over to you, boys.
Very good, excellent. So yeah, well, we're going to keep on going because hopefully the buffering will calm down as the evening goes on.
You'll be fine on catch
So
up.
yes, we'll only stop when we go quiet. So that's absolutely fine. So what are we moving on to next then?
We've got our guests.
Absolutely.
So we've got John and Jamie from RF Solutions. So
Yeah.
for anyone who doesn't know RF Solutions, who are RF Solutions? That's probably a good place to start.
RF Solutions.
Yeah.
We design and manufacture radio remote controls, radio modules, and all things radio telemetry, radio systems. And we're based just south of Gatwick Airport. We design and manufacture in the UK.
Right.
That's
So you
pretty
make electricians' lives easier. Should we say that?
That is our aim. We aim to design our products for an easy install experience. We want to help guys install and provide the latest tech for remote controls for domestic and low-level industrial applications.
Right. But more importantly, if they forget to run wires, you can get them out of jail.
We've got fixes for that too. And actually, yeah, we won't talk about too many specific customers, but you'd be amazed how many times we get people phone up and say, I need to run a live switch cable from here to there. What have you got for us, please? And that's, fix.
And we've just done a great install here. We've used your mains link product to link the lights in this building so we can control the PIR in the other building. And that, that was, as Rick said, it was a real install. It looked easy. I watched him do it, which is I like to do.
Could watch hard work all day long.
I like to watch hard work, and that was seemed to work incredibly well. But looking at the price of copper at the minute, I was thinking actually you're almost at the price where it could be cheaper sometimes to miss out the wires and use your system instead.
That's what the clay pigeon trap industry said a few years ago, and they're much the same, where it's cheaper to not have a cable that the mice chew through across the ground and actually put a remote control in. But the biggest cost difference is the time and labour in putting a cable up the stairs, round the corner, under the ground, compared to just screwing 2 boxes to the wall. Yeah. And that's where it comes into its own, really.
And do you find you try and make things user friendly? Because I know that in my experience with electricians, anything with electronics sort of in the area kind of does tend to get a little bit nervous. So
and radio's had a really bad name because 20, 30 years ago radio was not reliable. We were limited by what we could do legislatively wise in terms of what radio power we could transmit. We all have seen the improvements in radio over the decades, and now radio is very reliable, and it's designed to be open the box, fit it to the wall and forget. It comes factory configured. You don't really need to delve into it. If you want to, you can, and there are modes and things you can do, but no, it's designed to be open the box, throw away the manual, dare I say. No, never say that. Screw it to the wall and parade. And it works out. That's the plan.
excellent. For those of you who think that we might be in the middle of an earthquake due to the noise that's happening now, we've taken an executive decision to open the roller shutter door in the hope that that improves our Wi-Fi connection.
To the other building, yes. So there you go. So let's see if
That's good. So now we can see the beautiful rolling Skipton Savannah out of our massive roller shutter door there. So if
we can see the RF Solutions system working.
Happy days, yeah. It just came on as Gary walked across. Yeah, that was a nice little segue, wasn't it?
I noticed that the roller shutter it doesn't have a remote control.
That's a good idea. There's probably a very good reason it doesn't have remote control. I've recently learned a lot about the controls for that roller shutter door. Yeah, because Gary broke it. So, he left something under it, and someone brought the door down.
Was it
derailed
a person?
and it was. It took a lot of. There's quite a bit in that control, but it could do with a remote control.
Excellent. And now we're experiencing the aftershock as the roller shutter on the other unit goes up. So yeah, very good, excellent. Happy days. Okay, so that's good. So yeah, so radio frequency then. Is that
Yes.
RF stands for radio frequency? Is
It
that
does,
the
yes.
plan? Yeah, very
Yes.
good.
And,
Excellent.
and a lot has changed since the 80s when we used to have our own British frequency and France had their frequency and Germany had their frequency.
Yeah.
And of course, in about the mid-90s, Europe got together, harmonised all the frequencies so that when you were going on holiday with your car to France, you weren't breaking the law by operating your key fob. But unfortunately for us, the European community chose the German frequency to be the pan-European frequency.
Okay.
That gave us a lot of problems in the UK because there was a certain Tesco's, I think in Hertfordshire, where they had amateur radios and big transmitters nearby. You could go and lock your car, but you couldn't get back in again because you were swamped by this 433 frequency nearby. So the European agency did the sensible thing and they said, right, we'll still allow 433 as the German frequency to be allowed to be used, but we'll open up a new channel at 868 megahertz, which is why we now have the 868. And they split it into multiple channels, some high power, some low power. The high power being low duty cycle, the lower power being continuous. So we've now got a much better array of radio frequencies available to us that we can provide designs that are much more reliable and much longer operating range. And it really has brought radio into the realms of, yeah, you can plug it in and it will work.
And that's really the point. Bring it back to the electrician in the room. All of those frequencies and high bands and low bands. That's going to be freaking people out. But of course, what you do is you do all the hard work so that when it comes to the actual product for electricians, it's literally put your wires in here and it's good to go.
It's license exempt, so it's just as straightforward as fitting any electrical appliance. And we set it up so that the instruction manual is there. Literally, we aim it to be fit and forget.
Of course, most of our systems are pre-paired as well, so
there's no pairing,
there's no pairing or anything
no
like that.
configuration, works out the box. And we've all learnt that from what Apple have done with the mobile phone, haven't they? Works out the box, simple, straightforward. I mean, having said that, there's always this needs doing and that needs doing, and I've got this strange application, and that's what we've got people at the end of the phone line that you can just phone up and chat to, and we can try and help.
Very good. It's interesting you're bringing up Apple there. We'll be talking about Apple products in the plug and socket later. I'm starting to feel a little bit uncomfortable in my own skin after the day's events, but
this is all your fault, John.
We'll see how we get on. Yeah, we'll see
I
how we
haven't
get
streamed
on.
problems because you've moved platforms.
Is that? I haven't even turned it on yet. Very good. Happy days. Well, that's all been really interesting. Really enjoyed that. And we're going to come back to yourselves a little bit later in the show. Hopefully, get some questions coming in from the audience that you can help us to answer. That'd be good. But we've actually skipped a beat on the running order there, Gordon.
We skipped a beat.
We skipped a beat. We went from Eddie Cam.
Oh, we did. We
to
haven't
gas.
gone.
Yeah.
It's time for a bit of regulation corner in all the confusion. So
Let's get it on.
I think, Joe, you're here. You're going to have to get really quickly changed and have pop off to regulation corner.
Let's do this. Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. Welcome to Regulation Corner. Today, once again, we're on location in my future study. So take a seat, get comfortable, maybe even pour yourself a drink. On this week's live stream, we've been discussing safe isolation and how important it is to keep ourselves and others safe while working on electrical systems. And it got me thinking about electrical writings outside of the cosy, comforting, familiar embrace of BS 7671. So this week, I've been brooding on the Best Practice Guide 2 published by Electrical Safety First, which bears the snappy title, Guidance on the Management of Electrical Safety and Safe Isolation Procedures for Low Voltage Installation. Just trips off the tongue there, doesn't it? Now there's a really important paragraph in here. I'm using my digital copy, and under the heading Safe Isolation Procedures, we read, for all work on LV electrical equipment or circuits, it is important to ensure that the correct point of isolation is identified, that an appropriate means of isolation is used, and that the supply cannot inadvertently be reinstated while the work is in progress. The conductors must be proved to be dead at the point of work before they are touched, and where necessary, caution notices should also be applied at the point of isolation. Well, while it doesn't attain the lofty heights of mellifluousness and captivating appeal that we've become used to from the scribes over at the IET, it's got a certain hearty, rustic charm, I'm sure you'll agree. That part where it says the supply cannot inadvertently be reinstated while the work is in progress, that certainly has potential and hints at something deeper. Very often it's what the text doesn't say that's really important. Much like the prioress from Geoffrey Chaucer's medieval standard, The Canterbury Tales. But despite the clunky and at times derivative prose, the key thing here lies in the underlying message, which I believe can be summarised as follows. Safe isolation saves lives. And really, you can't get any simpler than that. That message stands on its own 2 feet. I won't keep you any longer. Thanks for stopping by, and the next time you're passing, drop in, say hello. You know there's always a place for you here at Regulation Corner. Good night.
Did you learn something there, Joe?
I definitely did, yeah, absolutely. Safe isolation saves lives. I think that's quite catchy, isn't it? It is absolutely the hardest thing I ever have to do as part of this process is watch myself back. I really, really don't enjoy it. I find it quite challenging. So yeah, sitting here watching myself there is quite a challenge. So hopefully you enjoyed that, even if I didn't. Very good. So anyway, let's move it along swiftly. So where are we going to next then, Gordon? What's next on the list?
Well, it's time for the register with Rick. But Rick's fielding the comments because we're buffering at the minute. So,
quite a lot of angry people in the comments this evening. Yes.
Swiftly over for Gary and Rick's register.
Okay, again, if you get to this bit and it's still buffering, go back 5 or 10 minutes and just start. It's lagging on leading, but not on lagging. Does that sound correct to you?
I have no idea.
Okay, then, good man. So let's have the register with Ravishing Rick.
Yeah, so, right, today's register goes a little like this. Sean Dempsey, Big Ash Electrical. Mrs. Hayes is online.
No chance to get to see her husband in a week.
That Tool Guy, Sean the Spark. Richard Cockerline, Demo Gaming, Princess Spark, Ace Spark, Pegasus, well, yeah, we know that. Kevin Osborne, Steve Ayres, South Manchester Electrical, Ashley Williams, Steve Skillen, Sparky 400T, 9+ installations, Chris Oswin, the Sparky, Andrew Brown, Carl Robinson, Sergio Fernandez, Sockets.
Cool, just do that again, Sergio Fernandez.
I know, I think I finessed it.
All right,
Okay.
Sergio Fernandez.
From Costa del Watford.
Yeah.
The Gadget Man, X-Forces Electrician, Billy Torre, Ren Skylan, Marcus Barrett, Alan Chan, Andy, I can't say that, Smale, is it Smale? Sorry if I've crushed it. Gavin Geeney, Clyde Pearson, Daddy B, Jamie Blayton.
Yay!
And Abattoir Jack, Adrian Up North, Ollie, Dave Noble, Rob Holmes, Orzo, Marky the Spark Allison, Thomas Potts, P Taylor, EV Blocks, Terry Moore, Matthew Boylan, PDKH, and then we've got a bullet from above.
First time on, is he?
According to the...
I'd imagine he's already gone.
Yeah. We've got Jay Bundy, Andy H, Jane Winterbourne, Craig Lewis, Vince, what's that, Hassled?
I don't know, you're in it. Yeah. Vince is on.
Vince is on. Glenn Bancroft, Kevin Crane, Andy Burrows. Andy, did I used to work with you, Andy? Don't know.
Hi, Rick.
Gordon, Minecraft Gamer 1, Mohammed, Matthew Campbell, Taylor Markley and Thomas Jones.
I'd be remarkably surprised if all of them got through the buffering to when their name was called out in the register. But like we said, drop it back 10 minutes and go again and you'll lose all that buffering. Is that what we're saying, Rick? Is that our big advice?
That's what you're saying.
Yeah. Thanks, Rick. From me and Rick, our night work is over and done with. We'll turn you back to the boys. You notice when I'm not on one of them seats, it's all gone wrong. You put the dots together to get the conclusion. Or are we sabotaging it?
Well, that's good. Gary's just switched himself into smug mode there. So that's unbearable, Gary, all the way home tomorrow. Can't wait.
Yeah. As Billy Torrey's right, just dial it back a bit and then you get past the buffer.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Do you know what? A couple of things I think could be quite amusing moving forwards. One week we should have buffering as the word for Gary's swap shop. That could get confusing. And someone's pointed out as well, who was it? Sergio Fernandez, a long-term viewer from Costa del Watford.
Sergio Fernando!
We love that guy. He's pointed out that with slightly fewer people watching, more chances to win. So if you stayed on, the buffering's doing you a big favour. So yeah, as Mark Allison says, you're gaming the odds. Well played. Well played. Love it.
Someone said it's down to RF. products? Is it an RF, is it an RF issue?
Wi-Fi. Oh,
Yeah.
don't you
I was
talk-
hoping
oh,
that wouldn't come.
worse
You weren't there? I mean, we were waiting for it.
That
I must say, Jamie's in marketing, so it's all his
Yeah.
fault, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Very good. Right then, Gordon. So what's next on the list then? So we've done the Rick's Register, which was great. So we're coming up on.
People like that idea for buffering on there.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah.
So next we're going to go across to our Electricians Challenge.
Exciting
And,
times.
Yeah, it's another head-to-head.
Yep.
It's an all-Welsh version this week. We've got Will Winter.
Who doesn't sound very Welsh? I'll be
No,
honest.
but I think he's like he's missionary work in Wales, as people should be. Versus Wayne Byrne.
Yeah.
And,
Winter versus Burns.
Winter
yeah,
versus
I like
Byrne.
it. Yeah.
And so that was the first time they met before. It's a bit like sometimes a bit like Tinder on eFIXX. And if you're not long to do, people meet who've never seen before. They've just met online. They come here you haven't met before. You've worked together. You sure?
Yeah, once or twice.
They're
Yeah.
getting on very well if they haven't.
So as part of that, you get a chance to gamble on the time that the team do it in. So first up is who we've got on first. Did I write it up there?
I think we've got coming. I think it's Will went first.
Yes,
didn't he, I
yes,
believe, yeah.
Will went first.
Yeah.
Not an electrician, or he claims not to be an
Mr.
electrician.
Winter.
And so we've got a bundle. You can win. We've got another RF Solutions bundle for that. If you win that one today, so you can wear the glasses, Jamie. There's no hat in this one, Gary. You're not being generous. Give us a hat. You see, he's taking everything away. We've got the beer glass that you might not get actually.
Yeah, that might be full by the end of the stream.
So celebrating 30 years. When was 30 years?
This year.
This year, 30 years.
December.
So wow, that's good. And we've got the torch and a tape measure in there as well. So I'd like to win that. So all you have to do is
Decent
guess
bundle.
the time.
Yeah.
He's in with a hand cam. Look at that. He peers like a nemesis for us, Jim.
It's actually like a double pole bottle opener. So if you were really clever, you could do two at once.
Have you let the secret out?
That'd be pretty good. You don't want? Very good. Excellent.
Yeah, so we'll go there. Just checking the comments there on the book. So we've got to get the times in for William Winter. How fast did he complete the Electricians Challenge in? And he could win this nice RF Solutions bag of bits here, including the very unique glasses that we found. So get your times in, and we'll see how Will does. So let's cut across to Will on the Electricians. It's time for another Electricians Challenge. Now it's absolutely fantastic when we get a supplier along. It's all even better when they bring one of their best customers with them. Or will he remain the best customer? It's my pleasure to introduce William Winter and Wayne Byrne.
For you, good sir?
Oh, a present. Do I have to wear this?
Of course you do. Yeah.
So, yeah. So, Will, for people who don't know, you're Verso Electrical. And,
What camera's there?
yeah, make the name, I think you've stitched us up here. Everyone's now branded. And you did that a few when you sent some
I have
loyal customers
no
along
idea what
before.
you're talking about.
Yeah, well, that's good. We like that marketing. And Wayne, you're a good customer.
I am, yeah. I've been using Verso now about 6 months and really pleased with the products.
Yeah. And he's a good customer, Will?
Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
we'll see how
we like him.
We'll see how we get on with this challenge. See who remains good customers. But Wayne, you're also YouTubing as well.
Yeah, I dabble, in that, and nothing special, but yeah, I like to have a go, bit of a hobby, so.
Yeah, and I'll put a link to Wayne's channel in the description. If you're not
thank you.
subscribed already, you need to be across there. We found out he didn't take some copper to the scrapyard and likes to work in hot conservatories. So you mainly domestic work?
Yeah, 90%, yeah. Odd commercial, but nothing
Yeah.
major, yeah.
And that must bring some challenges.
Yeah, it does,
Yeah. Customers.
Yeah, it's a nightmare sometimes,
Yeah.
You know yourself, it's a tightrope sometimes, but you got to try and please everyone.
Yeah.
Easier when you use Verso though.
Yeah.
And how's the market at the minute?
Crazy, you can't keep up with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've taken on another electrician now. I've got an apprentice. We're just growing. It's
Oh,
incredible.
brilliant.
Yeah.
That's what we like. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, that's what we like to hear. And Will, obviously people may not be familiar with the Verso brand, quite new to the market still, aren't you?
With the circuit protection we are, yeah. So
Yeah.
we started, Verso actually started about 2017. We actually started with the wiring accessories, which they think that's new now because we made some developments to it and stuff. But circuit protection, we launched it in 2021. But it took us 2.5 years to actually design it, develop it, test everything, certify everything, and it's not a quick process to do something properly.
Yeah.
So so we launched the market 2021. Really nice time to be in the market, with global shortages of semiconductors and shipping issues, and so it was tough. But the product it did really well. We put it in the hands of electricians and wholesalers alike, and it's kind of rocketed from there, really. So.
No, good. Well, yeah. One day you might be on that challenge. We'll see. We'll see. But you're not an electrician by trade?
I am not even a competent DIYer. My wife doesn't let me put shelves up. So no, I'm not. No, background in aerospace, which has absolutely no transferable skills to switches and sockets at all.
I don't really use many screws these days.
They don't.
Stuck together.
No, all sockets.
Yeah. Okay. Well, on that bombshell, since you've primed us up for a slow time, let's see how Will got on with the Electricians Challenge. So Will is off, and he's slipped on a pair of glasses. Now, anyone watching who can remember the 1970s, I'll just put this word out there: NHS glasses.
I can't, but I've done some deep research into it, because obviously you're a lot older than me, Gordon. They used to put like an elastoplast around the corner where they hinge the glasses into the actual frame, obviously where a child has maybe sat on it at some point.
I'm sure you can remember them, Gary, and he's even mixed the colours. He used to only get 2 or 3 different colour options, but anyway, that's we'll leave that there and look at Will's tattoos.
They are fantastic, and it's that sign, it's the latest trend to use a little bit of body art, and he's leaned right into it. My only fear is, as my dad would say, what happens when that trend changes? Not as easy as taking it off like a item of clothing, is it?
Yeah, what starts as a lizard today will be a hippopotamus as you get to that middle-aged years and start to spread a little bit.
It looks like he's got a fountain pen anyone caught it on the corner of his arm there, but it is one impressive looking arm. And talking about impressive, Will's full name is William Oliver Winter, and his friends call him Wow, because I'd like to suggest for the record, folks, have we had anyone more pretty take on the Electricians Challenge than Will?
Well, possibly not, Gary, but will he have the wow factor today? Well, let's see how he's getting that cable up the conduit. And it was all right. He did a twist and tape, and he's wound Lasico bend across a double Luden, Sparky Luden there, intimidating him, because obviously competition here.
Go on, Will.
What snips has he got there?
They're probably ours, they weren't very sharp. Now these are brilliant, they're left behind by Wago. They didn't help Carl with his time, but they've helped everyone else shave a good chunk of time off with the way they strip the conduit, especially for the non-electrician. Now he says he's obviously not got any practical skills, can put up a shelf, but he's certainly leaning into this one, isn't he?
Yeah, no, yeah, people say they're not competitive when they walk through the door, and it's amazing how quickly they do competitive, yes, and he's in there, but I think there's a little bit of shakiness in here. I don't know if it's the camera, or is it Will?
Maybe it's the amount of products he's put in his hair. Maybe the stench from the smell of that hair product is probably causing him to go a little lightheaded at times.
Yeah.
Not a blade on his head has moved all day, has it?
Volatile organic compounds, yeah, always a challenge in the workplace.
You probably won't want to follow him in the shower.
Hold on, a bit of a twist around. I don't know what's happened to the cable reels there. Should have been easy because they're nearly empty. It's a bit of a entanglement.
Oh, right, okay. Now, looking at those tattoos, it reminds me of that series of Wiedersehen. Now, Neville got himself a tattoo on a day before I think he went back to Brenda that meant that journey wouldn't happen. Now, do you think it's one of those? Leave it in the comments below if you can remember the name of the lady tattooed on his arm.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one, that. Yeah, a little bit of trivia. I think I can, but again, we're testing that back. I'm surprised you can remember that, Gary, because you couldn't remember the glasses. I think you're fibbing about your age.
Massive of Wiedersehen fan.
Now, we've got a problem here.
Okay.
That earth lead back to the bond, back to the back box, is incredibly short.
It is, yeah. Those CPCs are going to take a little bit of stretching on. At least he did it last.
And he's gone for the furthest term that'll put them in. So good effort there for doing that. It's like, talk about making your life hard. So anyway, but this is looking impressive.
Yeah, it is. Okay, in order. Obviously, there's some editing gone on. It's his fastest time, but I don't think Will's disgraced himself, both visually and on speed.
Well, will it be a wow time? Nearly there. Final screw. He's done. So, Will, how did you find that?
It's called a challenge wall, isn't it?
Yeah.
It was very challenging.
Leave it to the customer now.
Yeah. I'm much better at making them than I am installing them.
Okay. So looking across at the board over there, where would you like to be?
Well, everyone would like to be at the top.
I don't think we're on there, Will.
No. I think. Well, I'd definitely like to be above Mr. Rogers.
Yeah. Okay,
but if I'm not, I can blame his RCBO. So, yeah,
I think that's what I'm aiming for.
That's good. That's good. Well, so Will Winter, you did this in not 6 minutes. You did this in 5 minutes and 15, which puts you just above Shahid Khan at the ECA. Probably Will, that was That was a commendable effort, actually.
Yeah, I was. I'll take that. I was a little bit nervous, not gonna lie.
How did you find these efforts there, Wayne? You think?
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, because you know DIY or anything. Yeah.
Oh, we are now. There we go. Yeah. We've left Gary at the trolls on his seat, taking the iPad away from us. Joe would have been fine, wouldn't we?
Well, we've figured out a few things while we were watching the race wall there. We had a little bit of a crisis meeting, didn't we? We sort of realised that actually, if you're watching on catch up, you're going to be wondering what all this talk of buffering is, because actually it will work perfectly on catch up, so there'll be no issues there.
Yeah, so we finished that first one. We haven't had any times in yet, so we'll just keep rolling with this, and we'll see what happens when the times do come in.
Yes.
And we'll revisit when we actually hand out some prizes. But don't worry, the second half of the Electricians Challenge is coming up soon.
Yeah, and we've had some classic comments coming in due to the technical issues we've had tonight. A couple of favourites from Jamie Blatant and the Information Torpedo. I've scrolled it so far back. Gary and Joe are working back at the colleges, which we thought was absolutely hilarious. And in response to that, that tool guy, our friend Torchy, says he's wound it back so far, he's an apprentice again. And if you've ever met Torchy, he's not in the first flush of youth, is he? Young Torchy there, is he? He's rocking on a little bit. So
I thought he looked pretty younger than Gary when I saw him.
I stand by what I said. Very good.
Which brought up some questions, which Jamie doesn't want to go there, about what is the problem with Wi-Fi? That's it.
Oh, Wi-Fi. We don't touch it with a barge pole.
Right,
ever
not. We're going off it rapidly.
Okay. Technically, it's the higher the frequency, the greater the field path loss.
Right.
It's a really bouncy signal. And you must have noticed yourself, you go into the front living room, oh, I've lost Wi-Fi. You go into the room, you've lost it, because it's such a high frequency, it doesn't penetrate walls, it doesn't penetrate anything. The lower the frequency, the greater the penetration. So unfortunately, when Wi-Fi was first defined, most of the other frequencies were already occupied. And you know how much money Vodafone, O2 pay for each slot of frequency channels they can get for the next generation of phones. So Wi-Fi was the only worldwide standard, is the only worldwide standard of 2.4 gigahertz. Now 5.8 gigahertz as well, which is even higher frequency, so even bouncier. The benefit is though, it can go faster, so it can carry faster data, but it doesn't penetrate.
So in theory, when you get your new router, because nowadays they're set up to 5 gigahertz automatically,
Yes.
because it was getting crowded down at that bottom end, wasn't it? So
Yes.
they've opened up the 5 gigahertz, but actually that gives you worse range?
It gives you worse range, but it gives you a higher data rate.
Right.
So it's faster, so you can get more of a download speed.
That's interesting.
So it's just the phenomenon of radio. There's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah, you know, I was just sitting there thinking, yeah, field rate loss.
So the problem we have with a lot of smart systems, I must stress, you don't use Wi-Fi in any of your systems?
We have got some peripherals, but only by demand from customers. We don't market products on Wi-Fi frequencies or have anything to do with them at all.
Yeah, so you can relax, Jamie. Your stuff's reliable. We'll get there. But on Wi-Fi, so we've noticed all IoT devices still want a 2.4 gigahertz signal.
Some do, some don't.
Right.
So we're entering the IoT arena, of which many companies are, but we still use what's called the ISM band, Industrial Scientific Medical, at 868 megahertz or at 433 to provide that link between whatever it is in the field and the gateway, which is sat in Wi-Fi, that then converts it onto the internet, puts it into the internet. So that's IoT, but nothing to do with Wi-Fi, other than it's just a gateway to get it onto the internet in the first place.
Right. So if you were, so we're even seeing silly things like smart light bulbs going Wi-Fi instead of using things like Bluetooth. Is that
Yes.
Is that a good or a bad thing?
That's, how long have you got?
Ages on the bottom.
Yes, that's a good thing, because you're controlling that bulb lamp from a short range, so it's going to work. Bluetooth was invented by the Norwegians, named after a god.
Viking King.
Viking King, sorry.
I thought it was a pirate.
A long time ago. And it was really designed for audio, for streaming audio. And it's great at that. And it's tried over the years to become an industrial type telemetry, industrial type frequency, but it is a protocol. It's defined how you can use it, so it has many layers to it. You can't simply, like you can with an ordinary radio module, just chuck a few bytes of data and it radios it out. You have to go through the protocol layers, and you have to send so much data backwards and forwards before you could even begin your payload of data that you're trying to send, that it becomes quite cumbersome. And for that reason, it's generally not chosen for industrial telecoms. It's really good at audio streaming.
Right, there we go. You learn something else. I think sometimes we get guests on and we sort of think, that's our go-to person for anything to do with the topic. I think we've found one, Joe.
I think we might have. Yeah, we're going to get him to fix the Wi-Fi after this. Very good, excellent. No, so that's really interesting. That's really good. Now, I think we need to start thinking about addressing the fact that we've not had any times coming for the race.
No, we're still on there,
race
Joe.
wall yet.
We'll get some times eventually.
Yeah,
we'll
so
just keep on going.
what are we going to do for moving on to the next
second half?
The second
so
half.
Yeah. We might have to announce the winners next week.
Yes, I think that might be the case.
So if you're watching on catch-up, you can put your times in the comments.
Yeah, absolutely.
That'd be a good thing to do, wouldn't it? So just put your name and we'll select someone from the comments, possibly at random, because you could cheat really. You could go forward, find out the time, and go back.
Yeah, because it's a double challenge wall tonight as well. We're thinking for the second round when we get to that, put Wayne followed by your time, so that we know exactly which one you're referring to. Because we're currently getting messages in of appreciation for Regulation Corner, which feels like we did it in another lifetime. That was so long ago now.
So the other thing I must mention, you've got an installer club as well, haven't you?
We have indeed.
Yes.
And there's a giveaway.
Yes, there is. So launching today until the 7th of November, we're giving away 3 all MainsLink Pro systems. All you have to do is sign up to the Installers Club if you're not a member already. And basically tell us via news@rfsolutions.co.uk how you would use one. And that's it.
Okay, that's simple as that.
Yeah,
so there's no, you don't have to buy anything.
No, you just have to be a member of our Installers Club.
Yeah.
And you just have to tell us how you would use a MainsLink or MainsLink Pro.
Okay.
It can be for any application, really.
Yeah. So the MainsLink Pro, if you haven't cottoned on already, is basically gets rid of wires, isn't it? It's you might have forgotten to run a wire between 2 places, which I can't believe would ever happen.
I've been there a few times.
Some say the most expensive wire is the one that you don't put in.
Yes, absolutely.
And yeah, so what sort of applications are people using the MainsLink for?
The biggest application is domestic boilers. You have an old boiler, used to maybe just have the thermostat, click on, click off, 240 volts, it sparks it up and it burns. It's gone bang, you've got to put a new one in. The new one requires permanent 230 volt feed, it requires a separate water pump, it may also now require a separate control from the airing cupboard. So all of a sudden, that single cable that's 230 volts that was switching isn't enough. So now you need to run extra cable to the airing cupboard, extra cable to the water pump. And what the MainsLink Pro in that case does is replace all of that extra cabling with just 2 boxes and saves you running the wire across the kitchen floor up the stairs. And it's simply terms, you put 230 volts into one box, it radios to the other box, and you get 230 volts coming out. And in the Pro version, it does the same both ways. So you put 230 volts into that box, and you get 230 volts out of this box. So it simply replaces a switched live cable. It's not just boilers, it could be for lighting, as you've got here, or in my house, we've got a garage that's separate to the house. So when somebody walks up and triggers the PIR, turns light on the garage, I've got a MainsLink there, which is then given 230 volts. That radios over to the house, and that MainsLink then turns all the house lights on. So somebody walks up to the garage, the whole place is lit up without me having to run a cable from the garage to the house.
Yeah. I mean, we have used it here, it's fantastic. It just worked out of the box, which is great. We don't want to get into commission and challenges. I've used the RF solutions. Your stuff is easy to get working out of the box.
That's good to hear.
Some of the products we do, it becomes a little bit more challenging, especially when you have to do a firmware update before you can use it.
Yeah.
So,
I think we demonstrated the range on it as well. I mean, that's the other massive advantage of radio as well, isn't it? It's the range on it is just off the hook. Yeah.
We are RF designers, and that's our speciality really, and we've been going for 30 years designing radios. Only the last sort of 10 years have we now brought our own products to the market. Previously we've been supplying OEM customers, but we've pioneered our design of spread spectrum radio as opposed to ordinary FM radio. FM is like what you have in your car, you listen to Radio 1, Radio 2, it's a constant carrier. Spread spectrum hops 50 times a second over 4,000 different frequencies. So it has the penetration which is much better than FM, consequently gives you a much longer operating distance.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Or rather more reliability over a shorter distance. That's really what we want, is just reliability.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, so
We're based down in the southeast, and sunny Brighton and Hove.
Lovely place, been?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we've
Plenty of
visited
times.
Brighton, haven't we? Yeah.
Yes.
Lovely place, interesting place. And soon we're going to be testing out the LoRa, which we've incorporated into our trap range, which I think you've featured.
Yes, we've got the track with the industrial sort of remote.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah.
So that we currently spec at 2 kilometres sort of open line of sight. Adding LoRa to that, we're specing it sort of, I think it's 10 kilometres, which will be range testing along Brighton and Hove seafront soon.
Nice.
Which, we're going to be making a video on that just to sort of showcase
Get
that.
down and video that, Gordon. That sounds like quite a nice couple of days' work on the south
On the
coast.
Boris bikes.
On the Boris bikes, which we do have, yeah.
Happy days, excellent. So, what with that kind of range, though? I mean, what sort of applications do you have in mind for that?
Well, you don't necessarily want that long a range, and we don't have many people. Although we've got one customer that's going from Dover to Calais, telemetry, but you don't need that in most cases. But what you do want is a reliable range, or most customers do, over say 500 metres or a kilometre, where there may be some buildings in the way or something where they're not quite sure. So if your starting point is much longer, then you've got more confidence in an industrial application or somewhere where you need to get maybe a stately home, thick brick walls, or somewhere you want to have the confidence it's going to work.
Right. Yeah. So I see. Yeah. So that makes more sense. That not necessarily wanting to turn your lights on from miles away, but maybe closer to home, but getting through those barriers that.
That's right.
The end of your gravel drive, Joe.
Yeah.
For some of us.
In essence, it's just like putting a V8 engine under the bonnet, really, and giving you that power that you need.
So MainsLink, you've got two great applications there. It's obviously plumbers. Well, not much plumbers really, but I'm sure they can. They always leave wires out, don't they? Plumbers. We're not going to plumbers wiring tonight, and obviously lighting control that we've used here. So people got to think up their own applications of what they'd use one for.
Absolutely, yeah. The world's your oyster, really, in terms of what you can use it for.
Yeah, sign up to the club and email you through.
Sign up to the RF Installers Club and just email us at news@rfsolutions.co.uk and just simply tell us what you would use a MainsLink or a MainsLink Pro, which is the 2-way version, what you would use it for, and that's it.
Right. And what you get is, if you remember the installer club.
So we frequently sort of run competitions and things like that, giveaways, product giveaways, that sort of thing, via our RF Installers Club.
Yeah.
So it's more so to sort of reward those for kind of those people that sign up, I guess.
Yeah. And you mostly, if you're buying RF Solutions products, you'll be buying it direct from you. You don't tend to go through the wholesaler, although the odd one might put them on there, but.
It's the customer's choice where he wants to purchase. From our website, we have our factory where we manufacture in Burgess Hill, so we've got stock in the warehouse, overnight deliveries, and our website's got all the products there, or otherwise on the phone. Orders in before 3 p.m, ship same day. But yeah, we really want to just create an opportunity for people to come to us and come straight to the manufacturer to buy the kit that hopefully does the job.
Yeah, and it does. I mean, I've been playing with various ones throughout the range. Actually, I am quite impressed with how actually installer friendly it is in terms of the enclosures. All seem to be great quality. You supply them with cable glands, and there's plenty of room in there to wire things. So. Yeah.
Well, that's a good point, because one of the key things, and in going through the experience we have done, getting feedback from users is the most important thing we as a manufacturer can get, because we want to provide a product that people go away on a Friday night say, I've done the job, it was a great experience, it was easy, and I'm pleased with the product I purchased. So to get that product, we need the feedback from guys to tell us and say, why don't you just change that around the side, or why don't you do that, or what we really want is this. And that feedback is so important to enable us to then make the next generation product better, because we don't always know what the things are being used for, what it's like in the field. It's easy to do things in the factory, in the lab, it's all nice and warm, it's all in front of you, but when it's a cold day and you're out in the middle of a field, it's a completely different story. So it's that feedback that we really would like, and if anybody's got any comments, please give us the feedback. We want to make our products better.
Right, well, with that in mind then, okay, so not necessarily feedback on an existing product, but friend of the show, That Tool Guy, has asked, any plans on 6 to 48 volt DC dimmers? So a radio frequency dimmer. So interesting one.
It's in the lab actually. We've been prototyping it for some time, but we've just never taken it to production yet. But it's certainly something that we can do. When it comes to dimming, there's a whole new chapter for either low voltage LED or high voltage, and it becomes a bit more specialist. So we'd like to hear about anybody that has any specific applications. Yes, we can do it if there's a demand there. And as I say to all our guys, if there's enough demand there and we think there's a market there, we'll design it and develop it. So at the moment, we don't have a product on the market, but we'd certainly look at it.
Good. So that tool guy, aka Torchy, reach out to RF
He has
Solutions.
used the products before. Yeah, he is a user. So there we go. Yeah, but you'll have to wait. I've thrown an idea in this afternoon, and I want mine out of the lab first. So there you go. It's purely selfish reasons.
And an update, Rick. It appears Andy Burrows. He'd be surprised if he's worked with you. He's in Derbyshire, and he's not long out of his apprenticeship. So it seems he might not be who you think he is.
Well, especially when the other chap who I used to work with just retired.
Turns out there's more than one Andy Burrows in the world. Who knew?
What are the chances?
Very good. Well, we've actually got some times coming in, Gordon, for
There we go.
the first round, which is really exciting. And I'm being signalled that we've got a winner, so that's good news.
Oh.
All right. So does that mean that we're ready to start the second round? Then,
Well, we'll go on the right. Yeah, if you just make a note of the winner, there's probably people. There could be people scrolling back. No, that's not close enough. Oh, it is. Yes, I can see one that is close. He's had a tip off. He's down in that part of the world.
There's a couple that had a tip off.
Oh, yeah. That's
So,
interesting.
We'll. No, I guess now we'll have to the second part of our Electricians challenge. This time it's the turn of Wayne Byrne, or as we like to now call him, the Welsh Wizard, a name he hasn't adopted himself yet on his own YouTube channel. A1 Electrical Services. So let's see how Wayne did with the Electricians Challenge. Fire your time in while he's doing it, and at some point in the future we'll find out what that time is. So as Wayne starts, we'll start with a bit of Wayne trivia. He used to be the 5th strongest man in Wales.
Wow, what a wonderful accolade to have and add to your CV.
Yeah, I think there was only 5 people in the competition that year. Hopefully he's going to be a winner tonight.
Well, when you delve into it, in other words, he was last. Now, talking to trivia, we've already posted the question about the tattoo on Neville's arm. One of the characters in Avoid His Own Pet also had the name Wayne. He was the young, dashing one in the team. Of course, I'd have to step forward if they ever remade it and do that role. I'd think you'd be more the bomber character, you know, had hardly any words to say and just lurched into screen and off again, Gordon. But we're digressing away from the question again that I'd like to, can you add it into the comments? What was Wayne's full name? There's another one for you.
I can't remember that. Also, I think I remember the electrician was called Barry Gary. I think he's got more of you about him, both in looks and in temperament. But anyway, back to Wayne, and he's putting the cable up the conduit. So is he? Now this looks impressive. He's just gone for the tape. He didn't go for the twist. So he is about to go. Oh, he's around Lasico bit. A little bit slow there, but he's into the distribution board pretty quickly.
It's about saving those seconds doing things like this. He's got his old croppers. He's obviously dead familiar with them. Ping, ping, ping. That's when you get it on.
Aren't they?
Yeah, it looks like something you owned.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I think they were handcrafted those. Let's see. Oh, look there, yeah. Let's have a look. See, there's a little sort of crouch position there to get the conductor in there.
He's a unit, though, isn't he?
He is, yeah.
He is a unit.
Oh,
don't. We don't need to go there. Look at the size of them arms. I'm not mentioning the thinning thatch again. Oh, we're going along on the CPC by the looks of things. Barry was a legend, though, wasn't he, in Avoid His Own Pet? He was comedy gold.
Yeah. Bore and Barry, I think we used to call him.
Oh, I'll happily take that. Timothy Spoil, wasn't it, his name?
Spoil,
was it? Okay, yeah, well, we got there in the end. Let's not spoil my joke.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Here we go. So we're into CPCs. We've done the JB again. We've gone long. I think that's probably the default position to be in.
JB tipped them off.
Yeah.
Or we just inherited that, and now Rick's put that in his repertoire when he's taking people.
Well, he's the expert, isn't he? Okay, so make these final connections.
Fast with a screwdriver.
Always looking for the top 10 electricians are. Unfortunately, the more electricians that come in, the harder it is to break into that top 10. But he's got lofty ambitions.
Screwdriver action.
Remember, we've got a new person editing it. He does like the speeding up button, doesn't he?
He's trying to hoodwink the audience into the false sense of security and the speed. I think this looks pretty good, actually. So just the screws, it can go all wrong here with a shake.
No, that's good.
Is that on the back of his finger? Is that a tattoo? Was it a ring?
It's a tattoo.
Oh,
we smuggled that one in, didn't he? We didn't mention that. There we go. Bang. Finished.
Nearly
good.
Now it's finished. Okay, so Wayne, how did you find that?
Harder than I thought. It was quite nerve-wracking. The nerves get the better of you, your hands go, and trying to get the cable up the conduit was a nightmare. But
And everyone does that. They always come to watch it online and think it looks really easy.
It does,
no
yeah,
pressure.
yeah.
Your hands do, they just start doing this.
yeah, my palms are sweating.
I can smash that out.
Yeah.
And Wayne came in confident he'd be in the top 10.
Yeah, I was hoping for top 10.
Yeah, well, let's see how you got on, Wayne. Whew. So in the top 10, you have to be in the 3s to get up there. And there's some lofty ambitions there. So Wayne, you did this in 3 minutes and 22. Just brings you in below James Barrett, Oxford.
Oh, JB.
JB50.
So that was a little bit quicker.
It was just a little bit quicker.
Yeah, it was
And,
good. Yeah. We've had a couple of winning times, you know. We were going to save the announcement for who it is later, but we've had 2 people come in with the right time for this one, Gordon, which is interesting.
Yeah, I suspect the live stream was one of the contestants.
Yeah,
There's been some tip-offs there.
we think there might be some relationships, some friendships going on, yeah, and people are getting inside information. So we've already forewarned John not to turn to a life of crime by revealing his time when his gets streamed. So hopefully we'll be all right on that one. So where are we going from here then, Gordon?
Well, hold on, but they've had to stream so far back in the buffering. What's happened, Joe?
The colours in their cable has gone back to red and black. I think Jamie's just on fire now. I think he stopped watching and just come up with ideas for scrolling so far back. He scrolled so far back. Mark Allison has a full head of hair. He's scrolled so far back. The screen ratio is in 4:3. I think we've hit a pretty rich seam of comedy here. Actually, yeah, it's very good. Very good. So there we go. Happy days. Right, good. So we're going to move it along now, okay? Because of course, anyone watching us on catch up will be bewildered by the talk of buffering, because there is no buffering as far as they're concerned. So from here, we're going to reveal the winners of the second Electricians Challenge momentarily. So where are we going next, Gordy?
We're going to talk about our Safe4September competition.
This is a big deal, isn't it? You know, we downplayed that at the start. We're giving away 100
of these.
100 of our safe isolation kits.
So the Gary can. Was he going to show what's in the safe isolation kit?
There we go. So we'll just keep. He's signalling at me to pad. He's saying he's desperately wanting me to pad this bit out. So Gordon's just opening up the safe isolation kit.
Someone's taking it.
Gary presses the right buttons. Here we go. You've not opened the duffer, have you?
No. There's the key bit, the safe isolation bit.
That's not the key bit.
There we go.
Well, that's the bit you need to put the lock on.
God,
That again, isn't it?
Just keep rolling. Just keep rolling.
And there's the really useful bit. Obviously, it's a sign tell people try not to switch it on, which you shouldn't be able to because it's locked off. But if you turn over the back, it's got a QR code that will take you through our safe isolation CPDs, which are incredibly useful. And there's the lock, Gary. There's the useful bit. Gary likes a lock.
Sorry, the comments are killing me tonight. I've scrolled so far back that YouTube is Betamax. I've scrolled so far back the internet is via RS-232. I've scrolled so far back I had to boot the PC into DOS. We get the idea. Yeah, I think it's safe to say. I think it's safe to say. No, but that is a great prize. 100 of those we're giving out.
100 of those that go down well at the colleges.
That's
colleges we go to receive one of these kits.
Yeah. And that's going to keep Joe 2.0 busy for weeks trying to ship them out, isn't it? He's
It
gonna,
is.
He's going to have
No,
his
we're going
hands
to come
full.
up with a good system. So
Bless him.
to
Right.
get those out.
And that's only one part of what we're giving away.
That's only one part. The second part is with you, Joe.
The second part is this, the lovely TIS 851, and this is a voltage and continuity tester with a built-in approved voltage indicator for proving dead. So that is our approved voltage indicator, something that's very close to Rick's heart, safe isolation, and something that I'm sure will come up a little bit later in the plug and socket. Yeah, that's it, I've made an enemy there, I'm going to be in trouble. But what's really special about this particular this particular voltage indicator, Gordon, what's it got?
Well, because it has the proving unit built in, which normally you don't. You have to buy a separate unit. And those separate units are expensive.
They're not cheap, absolutely. Yeah, so that is pretty awesome that's got that in there. So that's a great prize. And we're giving away one of these, right?
We've got 10 of those to give away as well. So
10 of these to give away.
Yeah.
That's a good
During
prize.
September, not tonight. Otherwise, everyone would be on.
Excellent. So, assuming people are watching, I think we're going to have to re-announce this next week. But assuming people are watching, what have we got to do in order to get our hands on either a safe isolation kit or one of these testers? What's the plan?
2 parts to it.
Okay.
So the first, if you want to win one of these, we will pick at random somebody who's done the safe isolation CPD in the month of September. So that started obviously last week. and
Yes.
obviously to the end of September.
Yep.
So we've got your details if you've done that. So if you've done it in the past, well, you could possibly do it again. We might look at that, but really want new people who haven't done it.
Yep.
If you have already done your Safe Isolation CPD in the past and you already have a certificate, share the certificate onto social media, onto Instagram, and tag us in with Safe4September.
Yep.
And also tag in TIS.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
just to be super clear,
Yeah.
we've done 2 Safe Isolation CPDs on the
Yeah.
know-how page of eFIXX.co.uk. I'm sure there'll be a link somewhere for you to click to access that after the show's finished. We're looking at the first of those 2, aren't we? That's the
Yeah.
one we want people to do. That's the one where we go through the Safe Isolation procedure. So again, if you do that in September, you'll automatically be entered for a chance to win one of these.
Yep,
One of
there's a good
100.
chance of winning,
A
100.
very good chance of winning.
Yep.
100, in fact, if all 36 watching now entered, you're doing well. But a little step further to win one of these, because these are really special. We want you to share your certificate on that one. So we want you to share that on your social media, on Instagram. We said that,
On
haven't we?
Instagram.
Yeah, on Instagram.
Yeah, picture on
So share a
Instagram.
picture of your certificate. Tag us at eFIXX Insta.
Yeah.
Tag TIS, and they are at Test Instrument Solutions.
Yeah.
So make sure you tag both of those when you share that.
And the hashtag Safe4September.
Safe for
So we can
September.
find that you've done it.
Beautiful. And that will then enter you into a competition to win one of 10 of those. So, I mean, chances are you're going to win something if you get involved.
Yeah, it's good. I mean,
It's a good prize.
Yeah, they are great. So
Yeah.
I think TIS sent 12 through. I think we've had to hold back one.
Oh,
Or 2.
okay. Good. So do I have to enter to get my hands on one? Do I?
You have to enter to get one back.
Very good. Excellent. So yes, so please do get involved with that. And obviously, whether you win or not, safe isolation, I mean, it does save lives. It is really important. And, we've created lots
But the
of
more you
content about
share that best practice, obviously we still see things, sometimes we're like horrified at some of the things you see on social media where people, wow, okay, that's
Yeah.
risky.
Yeah.
And obviously some people no longer don't come back from work sometimes when they actually get that wrong.
Absolutely, yeah.
And as we've seen in the news recently, obviously some companies had some rather large fines for being on the wrong side of safe isolation and safe working practices.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So if you've not seen that information on Electrical News Weekly, our podcast, please do catch up on that, because again, it is horrifying, and just not even from a financial point of view, but just what happens to people when safe isolation isn't followed. It's appalling, really, and everyone's got the right to get back home after going to work for a day. So yeah, please do make sure that you check that out and apply the principles found therein.
And even this week's electrocution in the Wicks bathroom.
Yeah. Well, let's not get started on definitions, shall we? I've been absolutely hammered about the definitions of electrocution and deadly shocks recently. So it'd be nice not to
taking liberties in the headlines.
Yeah, I'll blame it on my scriptwriter. I'll blame it on the scriptwriter. Very good. Right. Excellent. So where are we going from here then now? Excellent. So that is our Safe for September campaign.
And I will, just to be clear, I will put them links in the description when I put the page live tomorrow for those instructions, and that'll be all over our social media. And also the link for your competition is in there as well, which will spray everywhere tomorrow as well. Because that's another, again, the mains link, great product with tons of products to win tonight, actually.
Yeah.
And Gary, have you got some prizes?
Welcome back to the world of buffering. What was the Star Wars quote? The Star Wars quote was brilliant.
Well, having a background in aerospace is code for collecting Star Wars figurines.
I love it, absolutely. And for anyone out there, I've got a full set of Star Wars figurines as well, including some of those really deadly rare ones like the vinyl Cape Jawa, the blue Snaggletooth. I've got the full set. So if you ever break into my house, certainly don't go for the telly, don't go for the Betamax recorder, because VHS, I'll upgrade. I have got a VHS recorder. I'd say try and find those boxes of Star Wars figurines. I reckon they're worth about £9 at the minute. Ooh. Right, okay, meanwhile, back at Gary's Swap Shop, we've got some stuff to give away. Rick, 2 bags, we're giving these away. So if you've entered, you're in with a great chance, because not many did they? We didn't have a huge number because of the buffering. Who we got first prize?
Who's the first one? With that. So first prize, we've got Mohammed.
Okay, just Mohammed.
Just Mohammed, nothing else. Just Mohammed.
Okay, so in order to win, you have to get in the description, there's the Get Involved tab, and within there will be our address at Lineside Studios. It's Unit
2B Lineside Studios.
And it's, let's go for BD231TB.
Something like that.
Okay, you have to send us a letter.
Check the know-how page, is it?
Yeah, check the know-how page. So you have to send us a letter in with how much I'm your favourite presenter and how annoying Gordon is and how old he looks. And when you send that letter in along with your remote control, I will then send you back the wonderful bag as well. Yeah, stand up straight.
We've got a second winner as well,
Okay.
and it's Minecraft Gamer 1.
Okay.
So again,
Do you reckon that's his real name? That's what Joe would say. Do you reckon
he's
he's
gonna, I think when,
It's
he
his
sends the,
government
when he
name.
sends the message in to let us know who he is, I think he's going to have to also let us know
Okay.
his YouTube name.
Yeah, right. So you haven't won anything to send us that remote control. Send us a remote control, we'll bang you a bag in the post. How many days does it take to come out from Lineside Studios?
Oh, it's about 28.
28 days. We know next day delivery is a big thing. We think it's a novelty. It will wear off, and we've gone back to traditional. Back in my day, 28 days for delivery. Back in Gordon's day, the horse and cart would get there eventually, and it certainly didn't go global, did it? It was 3 months if you try to send anything to America, wasn't it? So you happy with that? We give our prize away, we turn our mics back off so we can get out of there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Turn them off.
Rest of the show?
Get a drink.
He's worse than he's over there, John, I think.
Well,
we'll have to,
my favourite thing is when he's not on at all, but he's in the comments, and we get the we get the comments from obviously Gaz saying, "We love Gaz, bring back Gaz." It's like, thanks for chipping in as always, Gary. It's always a pleasure.
Speaking of range, I think we'll have to send Gary a kilometre away next time to do this. He's bit from the bench.
Very good, excellent. So, just an update on Buffer Cam. They're currently watching Will do the Electricians Challenge Wall, which we covered. Again, feels like a good hour ago. So yeah, so I don't think we're going to get any times in for the second challenge anytime soon. So I'd suggest that we might be announcing the winners for the Gordon time next week.
Yes, I think we'll have to
tonight.
renounce one. We'll come back with another one next week.
We'll see how long the plug and socket goes on for, and draw a line under that. So shall we slip into the plug and socket? I think it's time to relax. So just to explain to our guests here, John and Joe, because I don't think we've explained the principle of the plug and socket, have we? Essentially, we're now in relaxed mode. Okay, so the bulk of the show is now over, and we're just going to chat. We're going to see if any good comments come up on the chat there, and we're just going to see how we're doing. So that's all good. So eventually, when the house that we were discussing with you earlier is in full effect, there'll be a bar up there called the Plug and Socket,
Right.
and that's where we'll retire to at this stage.
Yeah.
So,
I'm sure it's the wrong time to.
yeah, it's never been more needed than tonight's show. Never been more needed. Very good. So excellent. Do you know what we have missed out? Actually, what we've not mentioned is that in all the excitement, sockets at the start of the show.
Yeah,
he sent
right.
us some pennies before the show even started. So we've had our brookie sockets down here on the floor. So what are these all about, Gordon?
There, if you're in a restaurant and you've got a wobbly table.
Is that what
you know,
that is?
Sometimes in a restaurant you've got a wobbly table. You put one of them underneath it.
Yeah.
There we go.
Well, they're really for the stop plasterers putting plaster inside socket boxes, and these ones are so you can put the socket on and allow the plasterers to get around and finish their job with the socket still in place as well.
And the socket energised as well, because it actually conforms to an enclosure, doesn't it? Which is a very ingenious bit of kit. We love these. I actually used the plates on my kitchen refurb when I was doing that. So, yeah,
We
they
needed
do
one
work.
for the whole fireplace, actually. When he plastered over, he boarded the whole fireplace the lot.
All right, okay.
For real.
I think you need a new plasterer.
I think Brookie's just his entrepreneurial spirit's just gone. Oh, I can do
It's
something
an
with that.
enormous one. So,
Absolutely.
yeah. So again, Richard was on Dragon's Den. So there you go. Fancy a trip on Dragon's Den? Push RF Solutions out there.
I'm sure we'd give it a go, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
I'd watch that one. That'd be brilliant. That'd be absolutely fantastic.
Do you get any idea? Well, you said you get ideas from electricians.
Yes, we do. We get
Yeah.
ideas from lots of customers saying this is what we want, and it's a great way of going forward. We're constantly designing new products. We've got a couple of design engineers, and we just take feedback, and also technology goes forward. So a few years ago, there wasn't the silicon chips that allowed us to design the products that are now, and that's how we move forward with technology. But most importantly, feedback on what customers want.
Right. Have any of those ideas from electricians turned into sort of big sellers for you? Or the sort of,
Our right receiver has been, and we've taken most inputs for, we need enough space in there. We need space to put the cables in. We need bigger screw terminals. We want like we originally put the instructions for how to configure additional key fobs and make the thing work and set the timers up. So we put a little instruction sheet on the back of the lid so that in 3 years' time, when it's all been lost and years have gone by and we're wanting to revisit the product and know how to configure it, you take the lid off and there's the instructions ready for you.
That's really
Little
good.
things like that, really, which which are little niggly things that make your life so much sweeter as to the normal hassle factor of trying to do these sort of things. So that's really key.
And we were discussing the inventor of the potato waffle earlier, weren't we? We were sort of wondering, so if any electricians come up with these great ideas, obviously they get a little cut of everyone sold, yeah?
Right.
Is that how it works?
As my father once said to me, everything in life is negotiable.
There you go. So, yeah,
It's a no, Joe.
I've negotiated with you, Gordon, I understand.
It's like negotiating with terrorists.
Which one of us is the hostage here? Very good. So that's really good. That's really good to be responsive to the market that you're trying to help, and really that's what manufacturers should be doing, isn't it? Because it's the frontline people who are doing the work who kind of know what they need.
Yeah.
There's a good idea on the instructions in the lid. Yeah, a number of times I've been there. You these days you can Google it. So
Yes.
you Google a part number and end up with the previous version.
Yeah.
Or something.
Well, of course, now we're moving to a little sticker with a QR code on it. So the old-fashioned instructions go in, QR code is in, takes you straight to a video because we want to watch videos, we don't want to read manuals.
Yeah, that's
Based our entire business on that principle. So.
that makes life a lot easier.
It does. Yeah, it really does. Very good.
So what's next for RF Solutions? What's coming down the track?
We're redesigning all of our existing products to incorporate the LoRa radio, so we're going extra longer range. We are now designing a new range of radio sensors. So we've got sensors that monitor all sorts of different parameters, whether it's heating, lighting, we're doing dissolved oxygen for a trout farmer, and that's radioing the information back through a little gateway which just sits in Wi-Fi, puts it onto the internet, and you can monitor it on your smartphone, on a PC, you can get alerts. So we've got, if you like, information going back. Again, so it's easy configurable, an electrician it's designed for, plug and play solution, and you can monitor on your smartphone, and then you can also use your smartphone to send control messages, to switch things on or off, make things happen. So that's going forward next year.
This?
This is nice, isn't it? Yeah. This is like, proper service. I'm going to see if I can get the top off this bottle with the glasses. Let's see if I can
Plastic.
get in there. It don't work.
Wrong design.
Very good. Excellent. Excellent. So there's a good chat going on in the chat at the moment. I think people have I think they're perhaps just sitting through the buffering again at the moment about old computer systems that they remember from when they were young. The Amiga 500. That's a little. I remember having a Spectrum.
That was a lot of really posh kids.
I remember my old brothers having the Spectrum, the ZX with the
ZX
loading
Spectrum
tape.
Plus.
Yeah.
That didn't have the rubber keys. That had the plastic keys.
Very good. Remember that, and a Commodore 64. I remember my friend Gareth used to have a Commodore 64, and I thought he was like the most clever bloke that I knew because he could work a Commodore 64. It was amazing.
Alien language to you, Jamie?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
You've never had to load a game from a cassette.
No, I haven't.
Have you ever used a cassette?
I have used a cassette in my very, very early years, but not for a long time, of course.
Yeah. So you've got to think, imagine the days you want to play a computer game, you put the cassette in, you started playing just at the right volume level, and it would sit there for 20 minutes making an annoying noise, and then the game would start.
Absolutely. No, what would happen is you'd load it up for 20 minutes and it'd crash just as you were about to start playing. That's what used to happen. I remember that vividly. Yeah, those were the days. Did you have a console when you were younger? Were you a gamer at all?
I think the earliest console when I was younger was a PlayStation 2. PlayStation or PlayStation 2, something like that, yeah. Yeah, so we're going back quite... I mean, what are we on now? What, 4 or 5? Something
well,
like
the
that,
PlayStation was, that was revolutionary because before that, my very first console was the Atari 2600. That was a beautiful looking bit of kit. A nice wooden veneer inlay on the front of it. It was so old.
I've never even heard of that.
Oh, it was an amazing bit of kit. And then a NES. I used to have a NES, which I loved.
I had the Atari.
These were the days.
How come you had an Atari? You must have been very young when you got that.
I think it was a hand-me-down. We weren't exactly flush. I think we got that after someone else upgraded, I think was the plan. Yeah,
at least I had one on my mother took the tip. No. A few years ago, clearing out that old console with a veneer front, we'll put it to the tip.
That's devastating.
With Pac-Man out.
It was a genuinely great bit of kit. I actually used to love playing on that. It was good fun. But there you go. Very good,
You've
excellent.
probably got more computing power in some of your boxes now than were inside some of them.
Yeah, so I remember the micros they used to use the Sinclair, Sir Clive Sinclair, whatever happened to him, but yeah, they used to use a single Motorola, I think it was a 6502 8-bit processor, which, yeah, I mean, Moore's Law, is it? Where every 18 months, how many, lots of 18 months has there been since 1980?
So is it the
Big
processing
difference.
power doubles and the cost halves or something?
That's right,
Is
every
that-
18
yeah,
months.
that's right, yeah.
Performance
Yeah,
doubles.
Moore's Law, yeah, you're right. Yeah, yeah,
It's
we've
a
come a
really
long way.
sad thing. I learned to program in hexadecimal on a 6502 chip. Yeah,
That's cool.
there you go.
Oh, wow.
We still use assembly language today, of course,
Right.
for micros. And look at the average car has got 400 to 500 microcontrollers in it, all programmed in assembly.
Right.
Seriously.
A9FF, load the accumulator with FF. There you go.
That's it.
Always starts with that, so there you go.
It's funny, we're getting further in the conversation, we're figuring out where the boundaries are. It's like, me and Jamie are now in the same boat. Yeah, I think, yeah, Rick's going to join us there in a minute. Yeah, that's all good. That's all good. But yeah, it still blows my mind. They say that you've got more computing power in your mobile phone than they had available to put a man on the moon, which absolutely blows my mind. You know, and you think they did that with so little, and you know, we use this to.
You've seen Apollo 13, no, Joe?
Oh, I love that film. I do love that film. It's a great movie. Excellent movie. Anything with space in it is good.
Yeah.
Happy days.
But you make UK as well?
We do. We
Yeah.
manufacture just south of Gatwick Airport.
Which I don't think you shout about enough.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you should shout about that as well.
Especially electronics. That's
Yeah,
quite
because
that's a big
electronics
deal.
is not
Yeah.
that.
Well, Asia, which of course is the building site of the world, has the advantage of low labour rates.
Yeah.
But when you're building modern day electronic circuit boards, you use a robot arm, a surface mount placement machine. Well, it can place components, well, we've got about 40,000 components per hour we can place with our robot arm. So actually, that's as fast as you would have in Bangkok. So actually the cost of building with a machine is the same in both locations. So that removes the labour cost. Okay, it's a more expensive ground rent, but it means we can be a bit more competitive against Asian products. And the quality is there because we have our own control system, and the fact that a machine is building it, no disrespect to human beings, but machines don't make the mistakes that humans do. So we end up with a better product, smaller, and takes less power, so it's better all round.
Have you found as well that has it helped to insulate you a little bit from the supply problems that have been going on around the world at the moment with semiconductors and bits and bobs? Is that a sore subject?
That's just that's just a world problem.
Yeah.
And there are many rumours about why it came about. Trump being the biggest one, taxing companies in China. Therefore, they moved out of China, which then overloaded the very few semiconductor plants that are in the world, which is mainly TSMC in South Taiwan, Samsung in Korea, that just couldn't cope with the overwhelming demand from this extra demand from companies moving out, combined with the fact that there's just more demand for tech than ever before as a growing industry. So consequently, lead times go out, and they're still out now, and we don't see any improvement till 2024.
Oh, really?
We're placing orders now for semiconductors, and we're getting delivery dates of October to January 23 to 24 right now.
Wow. So that's
It's
full
very
12
painful.
months plus away. Wow.
So consequently, we have to go on to other places, try and find product where we can. In fact, to the point where we've actually found some silicon which we've bought in, and then we design a product of. Yeah, it's just topsy-turvy world. Really, it's very difficult.
Yeah, it's a very challenging time, isn't it?
But being in the UK, you can be more flexible, isn't it? That's the,
Yes.
you're shorter supply chain, and you're not all products sitting on a boat for.
Our design guys are very busy,
Yeah.
making things, converting things. But that's what you've got to do. So it's just the way you've got to be.
It's an exciting and dynamic company anyway that you're running, which is
It's
encouraging.
good. I mean, it's good. Designing new things, that's what we want to do. We want to get the new
Well,
products
I
out
think
there.
you've been doing it for 30 years. You're getting the hang of it now. Just
Figured out what you're doing. Yeah.
so I think we're sort of. Have we got any questions coming in, Joe?
Uh,
In the past?
Apparently we're buffering. No, not a lot coming in on that front. But I do just want to very briefly talk about, because I won't be up again for a little while, my transition to Apple.
All right.
I do
that's
want
good.
to talk about that.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, let me
'cause
before you go there, people. Did he say bulb? We've seen bulb. Now, interesting thing on bulb. We've got a video coming out on bulbs. Everyone says lamps, and I always called them lamps. So we had a delivery from Philips a few weeks ago, and on the packaging it's called a bulb.
they're slipping.
I don't know.
Is that a product name though? Maybe it's like a specific trademark thing. You know, they've decided to lean into it. Because I've noticed when I go into, because I tell all my friends about it, like the friends I used to have until I told them about it, that, you know, it's a lamp, not a bulb. And they always point out in the supermarkets, it's listed, and there's a big sign that says bulbs.
Yeah.
Well, they're wrong. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. But it's like saying earthwire and CPC, isn't it?
Yeah, one's right, one's wrong.
Yeah, some people are saying bulbs grow in the garden. And why do we put bulbs in the ground? So the worms can see where they're going.
Bum bum.
So the worms can see. No, tough crowd.
That's off, yes. People struggle on bulbs. Lots of things on Wi-Fi on that 2.4 gigahertz. So yeah, we still get a lot of equipment that works on 2.4 gigahertz.
Well, what we're finding actually is that like the new routers that get sent out when you upgrade your broadband, they'll have a 5 gigahertz. They'll be preset to that. But a lot of the stuff that connects to it still needs to operate on 2.4. So actually, because remember I did that for a video, I had to like partition my router, which for me was like, it's one of those. I found a YouTube video and followed it, and it worked, but I didn't really know what I was doing, you know, and managed to get that working. But yeah, it's an interesting time with that kind of side by side kit going on, isn't it? Can get a little bit confusing. So yeah, maybe RF is the way to go.
Absolutely, although don't ask me about that either, because I don't know.
Very good.
Time for Wayne coming in. Oh, lamp or luminaire, that's another one. So a luminaire, a lamp is a lamp or a bulb.
Yeah,
a luminaire is a lighting fixture in America.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that one. Very good. People, it is working. People are putting Wayne before their times mostly, so that's good. So I think we're.
We'll draw one of them next week.
We reckon we'll have it. So
you reckon you'll have it?
5 or 10 minutes, we'll have it.
Oh, well,
all right.
There you go.
Well, while we're waiting for those times to finish up, let's talk about the big Apple migration.
Yeah.
Okay, because this is a really big deal for me. Okay, when I've always been, you know, quite staunchly Android, haven't I, from day one? You know, I've never bought into the Apple hysteria ever, and I still haven't. Okay, but however, I am trialing Apple in my life, and this is a big deal for me. This is like it's almost like an abandonment of my principles. Do you know what I mean? So it's, you know, this is, all my family is on Apple, and I've always remained Android. I've always been the one, you know, and the one who's been the holdout. So I'm interested. So Gordon, why should I go over to Apple?
Well, normally I'd say because it just works, but clearly tonight it hasn't done.
I mean, even I'm not going to blame Apple. I'm not going to hold Steve Jobs personally responsible for tonight's show.
I've got my suspicions about the BT guys that had the manhole up the other a few days ago.
Yeah, they've been up the road at the hotel as well, haven't they? Yeah, that's a good point. Actually.
Yeah, I think
there's been some open reach stuff
that
going
could be the root cause of some of our buffering, but we'll investigate that a little bit further.
Yeah.
But no, like Apple, I don't know whether Apple. I had one of the first iPhones. Once you get sucked in, that's the problem. Apple are incredibly good at sucking you into an ecosystem and then just...
But I think, to be fair, I think all platforms are. Because my first phone was the Samsung Galaxy S2, my first smartphone. And I still look back on that phone with fondness because it was just a revelation and a revolution from the previous model of phone, you know, the old bricks that we used to have. And so I started down that road and have stayed down that road. But it made me giggle today because I've now got an iPad that's for business use, which is really, you know, interesting. And it reminded me of when I was teaching at the college. I had one evening class who were brilliant. We got on really well. We had a good laugh, good riotous time all together. And I always used to joke with my learners. First weekend, I always used to joke with them. I used to say, right, so you want to start the Joe's End of Year Present Fund, yeah? So there's like 20 of you in here. If everyone chips in a $5 a week, you know, by the end of the year, that's a really good present. You know, it's a good solid present for a good teacher, you know. And so this one group, there were always, you know, lots of moans and groans, and that you never got anything, you know. But then one year, this group, we'd been talking about, you know, tablets, iPads. It was when the iPad was first coming out, and we discussed Android versus Apple and all that sort of stuff. And then I walked into my classroom one evening towards the end of the year, and on the desk in front of me was a box. I opened up the box, and inside it, there was, like I've got upstairs now, an Apple iPad box, you know, with the iPad on the front and all that. And I'm instantly overwhelmed. I'm like, lads, you can't have bought me this. This is actually, I'm not even sure I can accept this under my contract as a teacher. You know, this is a really big deal that you've done this. I'm not sure I can even. And I picked it up and I was like, this is just too much. This is ridiculous. I can't believe you've done this. And I opened it up, and inside they'd put a box of medical iPads. And it was one of those moments. It's like, I'm glad that there weren't like lots of people recording at the time, you know, because I think if people had smartphones had been as prevalent as they are now, I think that would have been all over social media. You know, Joe pranked as he believes he's been bought an iPad. So yeah. Yeah, so there was a remarkably high failure rate among the ringleaders of that group that year. Yes, staggeringly, quite a lot of them failed. Yeah. No, but it was Chris Shortland. If you're watching, if you did tune in, that was an absolutely classic prank.
Does that shock you for life, Joe?
Well, maybe that's what it was. Yeah, maybe that's what put me off. Yeah, I don't know, but that was a good moment in teaching. That was once I'd got over. So
Jim, are you Apple or Android?
Well, I recently made the move from Apple to Android.
Right, is that because John's got one?
Well, no, I was going to say, funnily enough, all of the engineers at work all give the Apple users a hard time.
Yeah.
Which I'll let you explain as for why.
Because it's just so much easier to develop firmware and products and apps for Android. Apple don't let you do anything without them knowing your inside leg measurement, and even then you can't. For example, with our IoT system, we can write an app for Android, we can get it working, we can get alerts coming through. With Apple, not allowed at all. Just can't do it. So you can't develop the same things at all with Apple. And if you do want to put an app on Apple, you have to pay the money every year, recurrence and so forth. Android, open source, open game. So consequently, we have our own little apps we use for internally things for Android. What's the point in doing Apple?
Yeah.
Setting up the Android apps were significantly easier than the Apple ones, that's for sure.
That's interesting though, because my brother does quite a bit of like web design and stuff like that, and he says it's easier to get stuff working on Apple because it's so standard.
That's
you
true.
know, that it's like it's literally like, you know, if it works on well, I mean, there's only really one Apple phone for it to work.
That's
on,
right.
just
One
different
set of
iterations
hardware,
of
isn't it? That's it. It's the same as the PC and the Apple Mac, because as an Android, there's so many different manufacturers with their own slant. They take the basic Android operating system and then tweak it with their own features and enrichment. Whereas with Apple, it's the same hardware. So yeah, it's got to be used in that respect.
Interesting. Yeah, interesting stuff.
Really.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, there's good things about it. I'm quite looking forward to having a foot in both camps actually. So I'm looking forward to trying the other, because you know, I like to think I'm an open-minded person. You know, so it does make sense for me to have a go at that. You know, filthy heresy that is Apple.
Ultimately, I would be a much more Apple open convert if it wasn't so expensive.
Yeah.
As an engineer, you open up and look what's inside it. You think, how much?
Yeah. Well,
but then the new Galaxy phones are just as expensive now.
Power of
So-
really for you. That's
really
how it works once you're sucked into the system.
Yeah. We'll see. Who knows? A couple of weeks from now, I might have my own personal Apple phone.
Yeah. So we'll get Gary here. Can we thank the sponsors, Gary?
Yes.
Oh, hold on. We've got a time first, haven't we?
Happy days.
Oh, there we go. Which one you?
It's the one closest.
Yep.
I've underlined it.
What have got this sort of this scribbling? Shut down that Richard. Build up the drama. The winner is, but I think we should. It was for his buffering jokes and spotting the bold comment. Actually, is a good one, and it did actually get closest to the time. The winner on the second challenge wall was Jamie Blatant, and the information torpedo.
Very good. Well, that's nice. Actually, that's good that Jamie's won something. That's nice.
Yeah.
He's managed to stick with the live stream for a long time tonight. So yeah, he deserves a prize.
And if you want to win, check out the Get Involved tab below and send us a message on there for the GT time, and we'll send you out one of these fantastic bundles with the beer glass and the beer opening devices. God, massive insect flying at you there, John. We'll send you. We'll get you there.
It's not just a nickname for you. So what was did we announce the first Gordon time winner? I don't think we actually announced that. No, we didn't. Because that was the slightly controversial one, wasn't it? There's people congratulating themselves on the comments.
Is there
already? Yeah. So we'll go in non-winner order first. Ace Spark 1 got the right time.
Right.
But he came in second.
Right.
There was someone who got in there
here.
ahead.
Go on,
and we suspect that actually maybe Ace Spark 1 might have a connection to some of the contenders tonight. So yeah,
Who
we'll
did
see.
get the first one?
We'll see. But who got the first one was Mr. Terry Moore.
Yeah, which is
well
good.
done.
So Terry Moore and Jamie Blake for sending your details via the Get Involved tab, your address, and we will get these out to you within 28 days.
Hopefully.
Yeah, and they're good bags.
They are really good bags, yeah, absolutely.
So now can I thank the sponsors, Gary? Oh my God, he's got it on there. Yeah. Go on then,
Okay.
John.
So,
You can thank the sponsors.
okay. So we'd like to say thank you, and really genuinely thank you to the following people, because the show wouldn't happen without you. So we'd like to say thank you to My Energy. We'd like to say thank you to Doncaster Cables, Ludon Palazzoli, Marshall Tufflex, BG Lucico, and the one that was underneath Marshall Tufflex that has slipped my memory. Vargo, of course it is. Very good. Gary's just dying with laughter off camera at the moment, so thanks for that, Gary. That's all good. I nearly had it as well. Very good. No, but yeah, thank you to all our sponsors.
And obviously thank you to our guests.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
John and Jamie. I think we've found our go-to RF person now. We'll get phone calls whenever we have a question to do with anything to do with wireless.
Yeah, absolutely.
And again, check out the RF Solutions Installer Club.
Absolutely,
I
yeah.
think I'll be on there as well. Rick, are you going to be in there? Rick likes a freebie.
Yeah.
What's that?
No.
I'm concentrating on computer.
Oh, Gary, are you going to join?
No.
Yeah. There we go.
Very good.
So the prizes will be ours, Joe.
Happy days.
And
I like that.
yeah, so we've gone through buffering madness tonight. Hopefully we'll see you at some point in the future.
Yeah, and I think after that we probably deserve to retire to the actual bar. So
Yeah,
we'll say thank you very
buffering
much.
in the bar. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time, where we will still be here.